Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribrajakachaja Astotara Sata Shri Srimadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gora Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avashadayet atmanaiva yatmano bandhur atmaiva nripuratmanaha. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet anataiva hi atmano bandhur atmanaiva nripuratmanaha. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avashadayet atmaiva yatmano bandhur atmaiva nripuratmanaha. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avashadayet atmaiva yatmano bandhur atmaiva nripuratmanaha. Uddharet one must deliver. Atmana, by the mind. Atmanam, the conditioned soul. Na, never. Atmanam, the conditioned soul. Avasadayet, put into degradation. Atma, mind. Eva, certainly. He, indeed. Atmanaha, of the conditioned soul. Bandhu, friend. Atma, mind. Eva, certainly. Nripu, enemy. Atmanaha, of the conditioned soul. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. A man must elevate himself by his own mind, not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Purport. The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul, depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is the central point of yoga practices, Atma here refers to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be trained so it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because of the mind's ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted to sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing this point, that is, that one must do this. It is also said, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayaho bandhaya vishaya sango muktyai nirvishayam manaha. For man, mind is the cause of bondage, and mind is the cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. Therefore, the mind which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness is the cause of supreme liberation. Huddared atmanatmanam natmanam avashadayet atmaiva hi atmano bandhur atmaiva nripur atmanaha. So in the beginning of this chapter, which is called Sankhya Yoga, Sankhya means to count. Count what? Count the material elements. Sankhya Yoga means that one who is puzzled, one who is interested in understanding the confusion of material life, he can examine the material elements and notice how different he is from them. Just like I look at my body, but this body is not me, it is my body, I'm the possessor of the body. Similarly, every single element in material life is different to what I am. In other words, I am spirit and everything else is matter. And the controlling point, the axle, or where it moves on, is the mind. The mind has two functions. Mind accepts and mind rejects. And this acceptance and rejection is then evaluated by the intelligence. For example, I may go to a departmental store and I may see some beautiful object and the mind says, take it. But then the intelligence says, no, It's too expensive, you cannot afford it, you don't need it. So the intelligence decides the movements of the mind. And where do we get our intelligence from? From our upbringing, from our education. But if we take Krishna's intelligence, and this is the importance of the Bhagavad Gita, the importance of the Bhagavad Gita is it is nothing but the exposition of Krishna's intelligence. And because Krishna is supreme, if we take his intelligence by following his instructions in the Bhagavad Gita, then we will be guaranteed a positive result. But if the mind is too absorbed in sense objects, then the intelligence will not accept Krishna's intelligence. It will accept the intelligence of the mind and the senses, that the senses want to enjoy. So the intelligence will say, yes, enjoy. So what is the problem with this material enjoyment? The problem of material enjoyment is that the more we enjoy the senses, the more we go away from understanding our spiritual nature. And the more we control the senses, the more we actually understand who we are. It is just like driving a motor car. If you drive a motor car and you're in control of the car, then you know who you are. But if the car is out of control, then there is immediate panic because you don't know what's going to happen. So in the same way, Krishna says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridesha arjuna tishtati, that the supreme driver is Krishna and is sitting within the heart. And Brahmayam sarva bhutani yantra arudani mayaya, and the living entity is living within this vehicle, which is called a yantra. Yantra means a machine, like a motor car. So this vehicle of the material body is the vehicle, is the motor car of the living entity. So yantra rudani mayaya, and this living entity, this body is made up of the illusory energy. Why is the body illusory? The body is illusory because it is temporary. You may say, I like my body. I like to enjoy my senses. This is our present mode. This is our present society. The present program is enjoy the senses as much as you can. Why? Because actually people don't believe in the next life. They say they do, but they don't. They say they understand their spirit, but they don't, because they engage in unlimited sense gratification. The problem with unlimited sense gratification is you forget your eternal relationship with Krishna. Lord Chaitanya explained to Sanatana Goswami that the living entity is the eternal servant of Krishna. And Krishna is the supreme controller. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ar Shab Nitya. Ar Shab, everybody else, Britya, is a servant. Jene Jache Nacho Se Teche Kore Nitra. Just as Krishna pulls the string, so the living entity dances. Now, whether we're in illusion or whether we're in knowledge, we are always under the control of Krishna. Just like in a country, the citizen, whether he is free or whether he is in prison, is under the laws of the government. When he is free, he accepts the laws and he is given facility to progress and to do what he likes to do, to satisfy his desires. When he doesn't follow the government, he is put into prison to be restricted. And the purpose of prison is not just to lock somebody else. The actual purpose of prison is to reform the character of the criminal. The idea is that you made a mistake, you broke the law, you're punished, and through this punishment you learn not to break the law again. So this analogy works in the scheme of things, that Krishna is living in the spiritual world with unlimited living entities. And we can also live within there. But if we break the law in the spiritual world, and what does breaking the law mean? Breaking the law means you don't accept the authority of the government. You cause a disturbance. So there cannot be a disturbance where Krishna is. Krishna is supreme. He does not tolerate. You cannot challenge him. No one is equal or greater than him. So when we break the law, we are not allowed to live as free living entities in relationship with Krishna, and we come to the material world, which is the prison house of creation. And the more we identify with our material bodies, the more we're in illusion. And the more we learn to control the senses, the more we can come to understand our eternal relationship as servants to Krishna. Now, what is a servant and master? Krishna is the master, we are the servants. For example, a servant, he will cook and prepare food and offer it to his master. And when the master is finished, the servant will eat the food. So in the same way, we cook and we prepare food for Krishna, patram, pushpam, phalam toyam, made from vegetables, from milk, from water. Yome bhaktya prayachati, and we offer it to Krishna with bhakti, with devotion. So what is the purpose of this exercise? The purpose of the exercise of offering our food to Krishna is to underline and understand our positions as his servant. Just as I said, just like the servant of a big man offering food and then take whatever is left over. So we offer whatever we have to Krishna, and the balance we can take. That is called prasadam. That means we understand and we accept the fact that we are Krishna's servants. So when our senses are used in this way, that is called Krishna consciousness. And it begins by hearing, Shravanam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Shakyam, Atma Nivedanam. These are the 9 processes of bhakti, Nana Vida Bhakti. Hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, offering puja, serving the lotus feet, becoming Krishna's friend, becoming Krishna's servant, and surrendering everything to Krishna. So the example is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, how to hear, Shravanam. So that was Maharaj, King Parikshit, hearing from his spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami. So simply by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit became liberated, he became free. And Sukadeva, simply by speaking, Kirtanam, he became perfect. So, Smaranam, remembering, that is exemplified by Prahlad Maharaj, the boy devotee of Nrsingadev, that no matter how much he was persecuted by his father, he never forgot to remember Krishna. He never forgot to remember that Krishna was his protector. And indeed, Krishna protected him from being killed by wild animals. Krishna protected him when he was thrown over a cliff by his father. Krishna protected him when he was poisoned, because he always remembered his relationship with the Lord. Every problem in the material world is caused by forgetting our eternal relationship with God. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam is exemplified by Lakshmi Devi. She is always serving the lotus feet of Krishna. Actually, Lakshmi, she is Krishna's consort. She is his wife. She has every right to embrace him and to sit on his chest. But she goes down and she massages his lotus feet. Why? To teach us the greatness of Krishna, to teach us how to approach the Lord in a humble way. And Parasevanam, Archanam, offering puja, that was Ambarish Maharaj. Vandanam, offering prayers, that was done by Akrura Prabhu. Akrura was bathing in the Jamuna river, and he saw Krishna and Balaram within the water, and he offered very beautiful prayers. They were there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not that there is no knowledge. There is so much knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In 100 lifetimes, you cannot digest it all. It is so complex and so beautiful. There is no shortage of knowledge. The only shortage is our reluctance to accept that knowledge. So then Sakyam, friendship, that was exemplified by Arjuna, Krishna's friend, and Dasyam, or servitorship, that was exemplified by Hanuman, who is the eternal servant of Lord Rama, and Atmani Vedanam, or the accepting, surrendering everything to Krishna, that was exemplified by Bali Maharaj. So this Nanavida Bhakti, this 9 process of Bhakti, can be practiced very easily. You can practice 1 or 2 or all 9. And they are the bridge that can connect us to the spiritual world. And that connection results in a realization. It's imperceptible. You cannot understand how, but suddenly, if you practice one of these 9 processes properly, you will soon get an understanding of your spiritual nature. You understand that I'm not this body. You understand that when I die, whatever consciousness I have, that will determine my next situation. So, antakale chamam eva, Krishna says, at the end, antakale cha, certainly, mam eva, to me, Mukta Kalevaram, gives up his body, Smaran Mukta Kalevaram, Antakale, at the end of my material time. Smaram Muktva Kalevaram, I remember what? Tat Prayati Chamat Bhavan, one who remembers me will come to me. Nacha Yasti Atra Samshaya, and there is no doubt. So, yam vapi smaram bhavam, whatever you remember at the moment of death, then sada tad bhava bhavita. You always go to that position. So when you understand that you're a spirit soul, it colors all your life. You become interested in reconnecting with Krishna, because by connecting with Krishna, your spiritual identity becomes validated. Your understanding becomes extended. And you become blissful. And that bliss you cannot find anywhere else. Because any other bliss, any other joy that you find in the material world is contaminated by the understanding that it has a beginning and it has an end. You may love your wife, you may love your children, you may love your country, your community, but no matter who you are, you cannot escape the subconscious concept that it is temporary, that I'm going to die. Therefore Krishna says, Jamma, Mritu, birth, death, Jara, old age, Biadi, disease, Dukkha, Dosh, Anudarshanam. He advised Arjuna, and through Arjuna he's advising us, look at your life, look at your birth, look at the old age that is going to come, and the disease that is going to come, and the end, that death is going to come. Dukkha dosha, these are the problems of life. Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Anu means to follow, and anu means minutely. So you accept these principles, you accept it in a position which doesn't reflect your inner understanding, your inner feeling of being eternal, or wanting to be happy, or wanting to be in knowledge. So Krishna advises this consciousness of thinking that I am the body, yasatma buddhi, thinking that I am this atma, this body. Atma also means body. Yasatma buddhi kunape tri dhatuke. The body is made of 3 elements, kata, pitha, vayu. According to Ayurveda, the body is made of mucus, bile, and air. And it is simply a bag. Kunape means bag. The body without the soul is simply a bag. When the soul leaves, the body is just a bag of bones and tissue and blood. Nothing, it doesn't move any longer. The most beautiful body, you may be attracted to some very beautiful woman or very handsome man. But if the soul leaves that body becomes untouchable. You don't want to even be in the same room as a dead body, what to speak of touching it or interfacing with it. So that what is important is not the body, it's the consciousness within the body. This is science. Science is to understand what is the difference between a dead body and a live body. What has changed in the situation that a beautiful body, very attractive, suddenly becomes ugly and untouchable. This is the purpose of life, to understand these simple things. So, yasatma buddhi kunape tri dhatuke swadi kala tradishu, to think that my wife and my children belong to me. Boma ijjadi, to think that my country is worshipable, especially now there is a big competition going on, the Soccer World Cup, and before every game they play these national anthems and everybody puts his hands over his heart and he sings the song of his nation. It's all bogus. Ijjadi. If you think like this, Krishna says, Saeva Gokara, you're no better than a cow or a donkey. So we're living in a huge enclosement in this universe full of cows and donkeys. So don't be like that. Understand that Krishna is the Kshetragya. He is the owner of everybody. We belong to him. Our senses belong to him. We are his eternal servant. Therefore, we offer everything to him. We actually don't belong to ourselves. Everything we have belongs to Krishna. Therefore, he is called Rishikesha. He is the owner of the senses. And to train the mind to use the senses in the 9 processes of devotion, these processes of devotion are nothing more or less than giving Krishna the proper space within your life. We are born with nothing, we die with nothing. Everything is supplied by Krishna. Everything is supplied by the Supreme Controller. Even if you don't accept that his name is Krishna, you have to accept there is a Supreme Controller. The universe is controlled. This Big Bang Theory is so bogus. It is just like a thief. He will never admit that the property was stolen. He thinks he deserves what he steals. If he steals some gold, or he steals some money, or he steals some property, he thinks it is my right to steal it. It is my property. And similarly, because living entities, when they come into the material world, they steal the land, they steal the interactions of the elements, they identify with this land, therefore they are thieves. And because they are thieves, they will not recognize that Krishna is the proprietor. Because if you recognize that Krishna is the proprietor, then the next thing is, you have to accept you're a thief. So either you remain as a thief, or you return what you have stolen from Krishna to Krishna, and then you are situated in reality. Good. So, Ekala Ishvara Krishna. Krishna is the only controller. Ekala means only, one. Eka means one. So Ekala means single. There's no two, one. So Ekala Ishvara, the supreme controller is only one, and that is Krishna. Ar Shab Brita. Everybody else is his servant. Jare Jeche Nachai Se Teche Kore Nitra. And as Krishna pulls the strings, everybody dances. So either dance with Krishna, or don't dance with Krishna and dance with old age, disease and death. Dance with multiple births in the material world, in the samsara. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. No. The purpose is to dance with Krishna. Therefore Krishna comes very kindly on this planet and he performs his Rasa Leela, or his dance with the gopis, to teach us that this is the purpose of life, is to dance with me. And when you dance with Krishna, all anxiety becomes removed. Good. Thank you very much. So we have one comment from Admavidya Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to you. Any more comments, please feel free to post The class will be posted on the ISKCON Amsterdam and the Bhagavad Gita group class. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all again on Friday. Haribol.